Christmas is one of those weird times when news cycles start dying down a little bit, people can take a step back from all the hustle and bustle, they can reunite with friends and family that they may or may not have seen for a while. It's kind of the perfect period for looking back over the previous year and things that have happened and reflecting on those things that have happened, and maybe making assessments and predictions for how things are going to change over the next year and beyond in your given industry. Whether that be politics or science or music, here we're talking about video games, and there have been some seismic shifts in video games over the last year, and there will be more over the next year and beyond. Hi, I'm Prob, and welcome to News Trash here on the Geek Show, your regular look at the more interesting things that have been happening in the world of video games over the last few days. Now, before we go any further, if you like what we do and our particular approach to covering video games news, then please do consider clicking that subscribe button. It does help us grow as a channel and it does help us reach more people. So, kicking things off is another report, and it kind of follows on from what I was saying in the introduction. It's a time for taking stock of the situation and reflecting on what's happened. One of the stories that we covered on the previous episode was about North America's first video games union, called Audio Workers United. Now, to me, that was kind of like the pebbles that you get before an avalanche. And it's nice to see that somebody actually agrees with me, because Rob Fahey of GamesIndustry.biz has published an opinion piece called Unionisation is set to be one of the biggest stories in 2022. Now, this opinion piece does look at the whole unionisation situation from some angles that I haven't actually considered, so it was interesting for me to read it. One of the things that Rob Fahey has done with this particular article is he's taken a much more balanced approach to the subject matter, and so it's not just companies within the video games industry that he's covered, but also the employees themselves and how their work mindset has changed because of the pandemic. Now, given my own experience with members of my own family and how their work mindset has changed within their industries, I can understand where Rob Fahey's coming from with that particular perspective. It does make sense that companies don't want people to continue working from home and having these cozy little lives where everything is working around family. They want them to go back to the old way of doing things, but that may not be possible given how the pandemic has changed the world. Leaving that to one side, there are other angles and perspectives that are considered within this article. It is fascinating stuff, especially if you're someone like me who is really interested in kind of the minutiae when it comes to a particular industry like video games. That said, I do think there'll be some seismic shifts coming within the video games industry over 2022 and beyond, and they're probably going to be bigger than anyone realizes. Anyway, into the news proper now, and we're going to start off with another story that we covered on the previous episode, and that's all about NFTs in video games. A French trade union has criticised Ubisoft's Quartz as a useless, costly, ecologically mortifying technology. The union, called Solidaires Informatique, I hope I pronounced that correctly, they represent various staff members from Ubisoft Paris. Those staff members issued a statement, which the union shared, saying, Ubisoft has recently entered the blockchain and non-fungible tokens market, a decision that has been widely criticised by our players, bringing no improvements or benefits to our games. Many of us in the company feel the same way and say that blockchain is harmful, worthless, and without future. The union states that NFTs bring nothing to the video games industry. The statement goes on to say, you like dividends, subprimes, financial derivatives, crises, speculation, fast trading, money laundering, etc. This is the assured and unspoken promise of NFTs. We are far from the enjoyment of video games. And they're right. NFTs is one of these technologies that is still remarkably untested and, because of that, remarkably unsafe. But that doesn't stop people from testing the waters, and even on occasion, throwing a buttload of cash at a particular project. Peter Molyneux's Legacy project, for example, has already raked in about $53 to $54 million of land, in inverted commas, and that's his new project, which is basically kind of a NFT blockchain-based business simulator. The game's most expensive land plot was London, which sold for $900,000. And all of these purchases were made via the new legacy coin cryptocurrency, which is based on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, according to the way the game is made, the land is the NFT, and digital prospectors with the land NFT can then found their own in-game blockchain business association, with the idea being that you will then earn your money back and then some. Now, I'm not sure about how this all works, but apparently there are already business associations within the game, quite a few of them, and they are making money somehow. This is all voodoo to me, but there's one thing that I am certain of. It's not a video game, and I would hesitate to call it a game in any way, shape, or form. Okay, they advertise it as a business simulation, fine, but simulation also means that there is no real-world money involved. That's how a simulation works. It's a simulation. The clue is in the word. So, what is it then? What is this legacy that Peter Molyneux has made? It's basically a new form of trading. And it will take over eventually, and I'm sure there'll be a massive market for it. But that market, I don't know if it's in video games. I would hesitate to say that it's in video games, because video games by their nature are a form of escapism. And the moment that you start including real-world transactions into a video game as a core mechanic, well, then it stops being a video game. It stops being enjoyable. That might be one of the reasons why GSC Game World has rolled back on their blockchain auction proposal for Stalker 2 less than 2 days after announcing it. The developer has cancelled plans to implement NFTs into the game following the backlash from fans. In a statement, they've said, "We hear you. Based on the feedback we received, we've made a decision to cancel anything NFT related in Stalker 2. The interests of our fans and players are the top priority for the team. We're making this game for you to enjoy, whatever the cost is. If you care, we care too." Which is fine, at least they did listen. By the same token, I can kind of understand that developers and publishers want to use any kind of means to try and monetize a game that they're putting out. They want to try and milk it for as much money as possible. They spent a lot of time and effort developing it. Yada, yada, yada. Fine. Totally understand that. But there are other ways to do it. There are other tried and tested ways of making money from games. One of them is to make a good game that everyone wants to play. But that can also be a bad thing, as Final Fantasy XIV has found out, because it's so popular it's actually been pulled from sale. Which kind of happened with the old A Realm Reborn, but that wasn't as comprehensive a problem as it is now. The new Endwalker expansion has been so popular that the demand has massively dwarfed the actual server capacity. The influx of players has literally been shocking, and queue times are ridiculous, or have been. The free trial is now no longer available for new players, and existing trial players have also been deprioritized in the queue. Sales of the game have been temporarily suspended. Not only that, they're also stopping as many advertisements as possible for the game. Now, this move is costing Square Enix as a company millions and millions of dollars. Think about it. In terms of real-world money, it's costing them a fortune. But this is all designed to make the experience for the paying players as good as it could possibly be within reason. And this is one of the reasons why Final Fantasy fans have such a loyalty and appreciation of director Naoki Yoshida, because he has been very transparent and very open and very apologetic for the problems. And because he's been transparent about the issues that they're having, people have been appreciative of his honesty. And this, I think, serves as a lesson for other companies within the video games industry. Don't be afraid of admitting when there's a mistake or when there's a problem. People will understand. If they're fans of your company, they'll appreciate your honesty. They'll appreciate you being forthright with them. And they'll be happy to wait. If it means that they have to wait another 6 months to a year for a particular game, so be it. They might grumble a little bit, but they're more than happy to wait for that game because they're fans of you and they'll love you more for your honesty. Now, another story that we covered on the previous episode was that the PS4 had been jailbroken. That's actually led to something that is interesting, but also not really very nice. There are now Elden Ring spoilers in the wild because of a data mine of a network test, and this has all happened because the PS4 got jailbroken. See, what's happened is the hackers who found a way to jailbreak the PS4 hardware also found a way to run unauthorized copies of games on it, and data miners were then able to regain access to the Elden Ring network test that was made available last month. Now, the files included quest and voice data, which revealed key parts of the plot, including some of the endgame content. This is all now out there on the internet, and what they're saying is, be careful what you're searching for, because you might come across spoilers without actually realizing it. Moving on to some smaller bits of news that have happened. Tencent have bought Turtle Rock, who are the developers of Back 4 Blood. Now, the team is going to remain independent under Phil Robb and Chris Ashton. According to Turtle Rock's president and general manager Steve Goldsmith, we're all looking forward to joining the Tencent family of studios. Tencent's outstanding partners, global reach and deep knowledge of gaming, and unprecedented support will help us create the kinds of ambitious games we dream of, while allowing us to retain our autonomy and independent spirits. Now, this is quite interesting because Tencent seems to be quite hands-off when it comes to the studios that they collect. Anyway, moving on to Ghostbusters. Now, according to Ernie Hudson, the actor who plays Winston Zedmore Spencer in the original two films, there is definitely a new Ghostbusters game happening, and Dan Aykroyd is apparently also involved. He's not sure about Bill Murray, but he does have a lot to say about it. He was at a Q&A at the Celebrity Fan Fest in San Antonio, and at that fan meet, Hudson did confirm that he'd just got an email because they were doing another video game, and that they were scheduling it now to do the recording. He wasn't sure who was going to do it. Minecraft videos have finally hit 1 trillion views. YouTube released a special video to mark the 1 trillionth milestone of Minecraft videos, and that's according to YouTube itself, which has put together a detailed website showing the most popular creators and individual videos in each year of the game's history. YouTube basically gathered all 12 years worth of daily upload and view data from tens of thousands of creators and millions of viewers to come to its findings. And to celebrate the milestone, YouTube has created a music video containing references to numerous key moments and creators in the Minecraft YouTube community. And it's a testament to just how big a game Minecraft is that collectively all of the videos have hit 1 trillion views. Think about it for a second. There are only 7 billion people on the planet, and 1 trillion is 1,000 billion, or 1,000,000 million. Our final story for this episode is that there's a new Baldur's Gate game out for PC that nobody expected and nobody realized was coming out. But it's not a new Baldur's Gate game per se. It is an old Baldur's Gate game, a 20-year-old Baldur's Gate game. It is Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance that originally saw life on consoles like the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox. I know because I have both copies, and I also have the sequel Dark Alliance 2. Now, this isn't a remake or a reboot or anything like that. There are some updates. The game does feature higher resolutions up to 4K, solo or co-op play, and full controller support for the PC. And it's also out for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch as well. And I think that's the weirdest thing about it, is that it's Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, a game that came out in 2001, a game that I really enjoyed back in 2001 on the PS2. And with no kind of fanfare or announcement or marketing or anything like that, it's out again. And I will play it because it's a damn good game, or at least it was back then. We'll see if it holds up. But no matter how much I enjoyed the original game, it still makes this release really unexpected and kind of strange. Okay, that's it for this episode. If you have any thoughts about the stories we've covered today, then please leave us a comment. We are always interested in what people think. I'll be back for our regular midweek update. Until then, thanks for watching.